Spring 1901. 7 great powers struggle to decide the future of Europe in the new century. Will they usher in an era of peace and friendship, or tear the continent asunder with betrayal and bloodshed? I know what my money's on. Next on the Gameshelf, we look at Diplomacy, the classic 7-player board game of international intrigue. Diplomacy was invented by Alan B. Calamer in the 1950s while he was a student at Harvard Law School, just down the street from me. It was first published in 1959 and is currently in print by Wizards of the Coast, who provided us with the copy we used in today's show. But despite its 50-year history, I had known the game only by reputation, so I decided to correct this the only way that made sense to me. I invited 7 friends to Gameshelf Manor, had them wear nationally appropriate hats, and filmed them playing. The game takes place on a stylized map of Europe, broken into large spaces called provinces. The 7 players each begin the game holding several provinces that reflect the national boundaries of a major European power, more or less as they stood circa 1901. Within their borders, players place 3 or 4 game pieces representing army or navy units. Players also begin with a few special map areas called supply centers. Units can move 1 space per turn, and their goal is to capture as many other supply centers as they can. Moves happen simultaneously, with everyone writing movement orders down on slips of paper, and in our case, putting them into my hat. These slips are then read, and the resulting moves play out on the board. Conflict inevitably arises because the board is crowded, and each space on the map can only hold 1 unit. You can't simply march into an occupied space, but you can dislodge an opponent's piece from that space if any adjacent unit declared support for your attack during its own move. Defending pieces can also receive support, and they'll hold their turf if they can match the attacker's number of supporting units. At the start of the game, though, each player has too few pieces to be able to effectively capture occupied territory all by themselves, and this is where the name of the game comes in. Prior to every movement phase, there is a diplomacy phase, where players can speak with one another, forming alliances and gathering intelligence any way they wish. It's up to the players to determine how best to win allies, or at the very least, convince their enemies to pick on someone else. Besides an agreed-upon time limit, no rules govern this phase of the game, freeing players to lie, eavesdrop, fake orders, spread rumors, or just peek at each other's notes.
Are you looking at my map?
No, I'm not looking at your map. But do you have all your strategies written on your map there? That's a good plan.
We went with the rulebook's recommended limit of 30 minutes of discussion prior to the first turn, and then 15 minutes for every diplomacy phase thereafter. That done, we began the clock. Almost immediately, Germany, France, and England rushed upstairs to begin talks.
Well, I had some ideas, but did you guys have ideas about directions you might like to go?
I was thinking about Denmark.
Because we knew our roles before the game started, I knew that I kind of wanted to join with Germany and England, and I thought I had an idea of the other players and what their styles might be like, and I thought it would work at the beginning of the game as a good jumping off point because they're so close to me geographically.
So you get both your fleets in the sea, so you can then take Denmark and Norway next turn.
Yes, exactly.
Their action didn't escape the attention of Eastern and Southern Europe.
So Germany, England, and France are off.
Apparently Germany, England, and France are off having a conversation together.
Doesn't surprise me.
Scares me.
Yeah. The mood was basically, oh crap, they're plotting, and so we kind of decided, okay, we should figure something out ourselves. That very much worried us, having those 3 in some kind of alliance from the very beginning.
Honestly, it was far enough away from me that I didn't really have much of a take on it. I was much more concerned about what was going on in my neighborhood with Russia and Turkey.
Are you sure that's Austrian?
We can say it is.
They did make good use of their time by forging some non-aggression pacts of their own.
I'm really happy to leave all of it alone, except just take Romania.
Okay, that actually fits with my plans. I was going to head down towards Serbia.
Sure.
Honestly, at the start of the game, my feeling was that I did not want to make enemies too soon. My general feeling was if you make an enemy, they can be an enemy for the rest of the game, but if you make an ally, they can end up stabbing you. So I don't want to be too I don't want to close off any possibilities at the beginning. And it really seemed to come out that way. No one necessarily wanted to help me out. I was just kind of neutral for a while.
Once the so-called North Sea Alliance came downstairs, there was a little bit of static.
But I would certainly be happy to leave you and your intentions alone if you stay out of Scandinavia.
I'm certainly saying I can assure you I'll stay out of Scandinavia for now at least.
The thoughts were that Scandinavia was going to be England's, and so it was kind of an amusing little moment where I'm like, oh sure, I won't take Scandinavia.
The first move of the game produced no real interplayer conflicts, at least not on the map. This is actually typical. At the start of the game, the board is full of these completely unoccupied supply center spaces, such as in Scandinavia or Iberia. Low-hanging fruit for whoever gets there first. In diplomacy, each spring phase is followed by a fall phase, where the stakes are higher. Because after fall comes winter, and it's during winter that national borders get redrawn. Each supply center occupied by a unit at the end of a fall turn becomes property of that unit's owner, if it isn't already. Supply centers are important for two reasons. First, you can field as many units as you have supply centers, so more is definitely better. Conversely, losing a supply center means having to give up a unit, and if you lose all your supply centers, you're eliminated from the game. Supply centers also serve as the game's scoring system. Any player that holds 18 of the board's 34 supply centers wins the game of diplomacy. That player will almost inevitably have to turn on their allies at some point, rewarding their trust with a knife in the back, and winning more supply centers for themselves if they can time it right. We'll learn more about that later. Shared victories are also possible. Should an alliance of 2 or more players succeed in wiping the board clean of all of their adversaries, then they can simply agree to call it a day without the need to turn on one another. Back to the game. While our friends in the North Sea Alliance kept talking, France wasn't so sure about where things stood.
It's inevitable that I eventually go either to Italy or to Germany or up into England.
Right.
They seemed like a good target. And I mean, they'd probably be the easiest one to ally against, because I knew I would not be able to get Germany against England, so the solution was to get ally with Austria or Italy against Germany.
So I need to know what your designs are on Greece.
My design's on Greece.
Because the way you're set up right now looks like you're going straight for it.
Well, Austria, the thing about Austria is he's just right on the warpath for Turkey. In order for me to get anywhere else, I had to go through him. Just looking at the board, the spots were mine.
We have some conflicts.
We have some conflicts here. What's going on, guys?
So in Norway here, we have a standoff.
Yep,
So we go back.
That phase's orders saw some interplayer conflict, but it was only what we call bouncing. That's when 2 opposing units try to enter the same territory with equal support or no support at all. They just bounce off each other and nobody ends up with that territory.
Alright, so what's going on in Trieste? Pirates. Okay.
Yes, Italy just blamed its aggression against Austria on pirates. It's worth noting that in diplomacy, players do not start on equal geographic footing. Germany and Austria, in particular, begin the game in the precarious state of each having 3 immediately adjacent opponents.
I don't trust Germany at all.
Right.
And I know that it's inevitable that I'm going to eventually need to go that route.
Right.
I thought it was kind of bold of France, because I thought France was working with Germany. For myself, my own interests at that point were away from Germany, so I wasn't really in a position to move against Germany myself.
In the early game, Austria avoided making any firm alliances, while his neighbor, Germany, aggressively sought them.
Okay, I will be completely honest with you. The thing that I would really, really, really like is to take over France.
I was like, oh, France is my friend. I better maybe I should just not take any action here at all. Let France deal with Italy. If France asks for help against Italy, then we'll deal with that separately. But mostly I was more worried about shoring up my own borders.
The fleet in the Norwegian Sea is moving to, what's BAR? Okay.
Wow. Playing this game, Russia.
Interesting.
It was clear to me if I was going to remain allies, at least for any extent of time, with Germany and France, I needed to channel my aggression somewhere to sweep up territory. So Russia seemed like a pretty logical place to go, especially up there. No one else besides England is really poised to do that well.
I was originally planning on being allied with Austria and potentially attacking Germany. It didn't end up working out that way, but I very seriously considered the possibility.
Unfortunately, I can't support you in communicating right now.
You don't think you have that wherewithal to do that?
No.
All right.
You got a chance to take a big bite of Austria-Hungary right now. So if he's trusting you enough, if you can grab Trieste, and then if you support me to grab Greece, we've cut him down to only 3 supply centers.
They're hamstrung. Okay. Seems reasonable. Yes.
All right.
Want to start moving on Austria?
This turn? What are you planning?
I was planning on taking Bohemia.
And the army in Bulgaria is supporting the fleet that is moving from the Aegean Sea to Greece. So that has 2 support on it now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Goodness.
Oh.
Austria.
How about Greece?
In 1902, Austria discovers the price of not gaining allies quickly, as he finds himself invaded by Turkey, Italy, and Germany all at the same time. 3 of his units become dislodged and must retreat, while 2 of his supply centers fall into enemy hands.
Well, all my plans fell apart pretty much. That, I'd been trying to talk up neutrality with Italy and Germany, and they decided they weren't interested in neutrality. Because Turkey and Russia were working together, I could tell I was going to have trouble with Turkey. So that side of it I was sort of expecting, but I was surprised by Italy and Germany's move.
The real game-changing moment, though, involved France.
So if you, say, attack with Picardy and support with Burgundy, then he'd have to use 2 units to defend that.
I've been in talks with Italy about invading Germany, and I kind of decided to move, and I know it was probably way too early.
Early or not, France shocked all of Europe by forcibly wrenching Belgium from German control. This maneuver, attacking an ally when their guard is down, is known in diplomacy parlance as a stab. And the army in Burgundy supports the unit moving from Picardy to Belgium.
Whoa.
That's everything.
So why don't we resolve that first since we're right there?
I'm totally surprised, because I was pretty sure that we had this 3-way alliance that was pretty much unbreakable. We were all very friendly, and suddenly like, oh, well, there's a traitor in our midst.
I was pretty freaked out when France stabbed Germany, because I really thought I knew where she was coming from, and it's not to say that I trusted her completely or that we had a really firm alliance, but it just wasn't logical at that point in time to stab him, and so the very unpredictability of it really freaked me out, and I thought, there goes the whole game, really. I kind of panicked for a moment.
So let's start the clock. 15 minutes. Spring 03.
I would just like to mention that I had been assured that France would not be moving into Belgium.
And
you were.
France, what's up with the English Channel? I thought we were keeping that clear.
Hey, Jess, want to talk?
Hey, Italy, want to talk? Sure. All right.
Russia attempts to capitalize on the broken fellowship by talking to both of the remaining 2 in turn.
And she could very easily just, take anything along here.
Well, I
Well,
do not feel that I'm that weak.
Well,
but
I'm saying, if...
That was pretty funny. I mean, it was obvious where he was coming from, and if I were a less intelligent person, I might have fallen for it.
It's pretty clear to me that you're being disingenuous. I mean...
What?
I do not want your help fighting against France because that brings you way too close to the mother country for my comfort.
I see.
I don't... In fact, I was thinking of an agreement more like I pull out of aggressing against you in your homeland, and you give me Norway.
And I said, well, I don't like that. You're not giving me anything. And she said, well, not so many words. She said, well, I don't have to.
But she tried to be like, well, I'll stop, aggressing against you in St. Petersburg if you let me have Norway.
Okay.
I'm like, well, you can't take St. Petersburg anyway. But I'm very, very, very interested in seeing if there's something that sort of we could jointly do against England at some point.
I will keep that in mind.
In response to this, England chooses to draw her remaining ally in closer.
At this point, you and I might want to talk about stepping up our agreement, because we have a lot of undefended territory on a mutual front.
It seemed like it was time. It seemed like the right time to start making firmer alliances. I saw him as sort of the weaker link between the two of us. I thought that he wasn't as strong as me, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, because it put him in a position where it would be harder for him to turn on me. So that was a positive.
Can we make an explicit agreement of, like, I would be happy to win the game with you?
Okay.
Can we have that be explicit?
Sure.
And I mean, I realize that you might backstab me. I won't backstab you, but I will play a little defensively at the end there.
I don't mind that.
Okay.
But,
Austria, meanwhile, seeks an alliance with Italy a little late, only to be told to go bother Turkey.
But yes, if there are things I can help you do to contain or break Turkey, I'm all for that.
England and Germany start to draw up a plan against Russia, even while France poses a new threat.
I would almost say, yeah, let's bullsh move against France, except I don't have any units down. I mean, all my units are up here.
right, you're committed to the Russians.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can go with that.
England buys time by suggesting that France might want to cool it for a while.
But if you do take the English Channel again, Germany and I are going to have to make you a priority.
Yes, I realize
So
that. That's why I don't want. That's why I don't want to do that.
Okay, then we'll both keep clear of the channel.
Okay.
Italy now convinces Austria that it's in his best interest to let him help himself to the Austrian Empire's west coast.
You can't hold Trieste. There's no way you can do it.
Okay. What do you suggest I do instead?
Hold Serbia.
Okay.
I'm willing to set my fleet against Turkey.
Okay.
I thought with the first couple years of the game, we had negotiated neutrality between the two of us. When he turned around and took Trieste, it felt like a betrayal to me. So I was willing to listen to his suggestions, but then considered him my primary target regardless of what we discussed.
This was the supporting one, and this was...
No, that was the attacker.
Oh, but does it disrupt the attack? Or
No, it doesn't disrupt the attack.
Ah, so you got St. Petersburg.
Oh, that's Sevastopol.
England completes the seaside excursion she started 2 years ago by capturing St. Petersburg, one of Russia's home supply centers.
Have a Britain.
Yep. And it goes in.
Well done.
Wow.
It was
Tense.
tense.
Yeah.
Austria loses another point to Germany while France tenaciously hangs on to Belgium.
Do you want to talk about ways you could get St. Petersburg back cooperating with me, or do you just want to, like...
We can certainly talk.
It was terrific to have St. Petersburg. It put me in this really great position of being able to threaten Russia in a way that he knew I could follow up. So it wasn't just an idle threat.
I think I could probably see my way to giving you Norway if you just pull out of St. Petersburg. And so then basically, I will, if we play diplomacy ever again, you'll see how honest I actually am, but I will stay out of Norway.
Forever or just on this turn? Open it up
for at least this year.
You don't want to just give Vienna back to me, do you? No. I figured I'd put the offer out there and see how it goes.
I appreciate the offer. I'm sorry. What's in that for me?
I'll be your friend.
So I'm not willing to give you Vienna.
Okay.
What I am willing to do is stay out of Budapest while you attack while you work and Italy work on the Turks.
Yes, I'm not.
Well, I appreciate that.
Okay.
While Austria busied himself with ignoring everyone, the brinksmanship in Russia played out.
Army in Norway moves to St. Petersburg. Fleet in Bothnia moves to Sweden. The fleet in St. Petersburg moves to Bothnian Sea. Gulf of Bothnia.
Nicely done on both our parts.
Worked out.
Always good to see friends.
We're not friends.
That was the correct response.
France starts to learn that her treachery is making alliances hard to forge.
Oh, right now I did not expect him to move out of Munich, so right now I'm trying to do damage control and just make sure that I'm preventing him from going into Paris.
As it happens, her spot in the Northern Alliance doesn't stay vacant for long.
I mean, it was the North Sea Alliance, and then France stabbed me in the back. So then it was England and Germany against France. France has another enemy. Let's see if Italy wants to beat up against France. I was already talking with Italy separately about our mutual enemies on either side of Switzerland. And then later I was talking to England, and England said, or maybe I just said,
Are you averse to sharing victory with Italy?
I would be open to that.
Okay. He's also said that's okay with him to share with you. So see if this diagonal access can do some damage.
In the east, Turkey and Russia confirm their mutual trust, while Austria, still hanging on with 2 units, seeks allies. The orders phase sees England supporting Germany's effort to take back Belgium, which France rebuffs. However, with her resources entangled up north, Italy's able to invade and hold Marseille on the south coast.
Yeah, I think I'm posed. Everything's so broken up, I'm gonna lose. I know I'm probably gonna lose this next turn, and
we'll see.
England, meanwhile, ends up scoring big on her gamble with Russia, gaining not just Norway, but Sweden, both of which contain supply centers.
I'm actually shaking because I think there's a chance we might win, which
Okay.
I have not felt before.
Okay. Does France have a fleet there?
No, she has all her fleets inland right now.
And she just disbanded Brest.
Oh, she did?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes.
So she only has the one here?
Yeah.
England and Germany decide to put Russia on a long leash while they turn their attention to France.
I would be fine to just leave the Russian-German border as it is for the moment.
Okay.
I've got bigger fish to fry.
I felt personally betrayed by France, and I wanted to make sure that I wanted to work with England and Italy to completely destroy France and get back into the situation where we all have this safe back border that we just move forward on our shared front border.
Fleet in BAL moves to KIE. And
They what?
The price they pay for that becomes clear during that turn's moves when Russia feels free to invade Germany. The latter half of 1905 sees Turkey talking with Italy about the fleet that's lurking in the Ionian Sea.
Are you willing to let me keep the Ionian Sea?
Ooh, that's tough.
Because it's very close to my homeland.
If you block the Ionian Sea, I have no channel for getting out of where I am if I want to move further on.
Further on to where?
I don't know.
That's all my territory.
Is it?
I mean, historically,
I'll let you have it this turn. If I see any attempt, which I will most likely block, but if I see a support on helping in someone going to Greece, or I see anything, all bets are off.
That's fair.
All right. Italy was trying to push out both borders, and Italy was very much on my border at one point, and I really wanted to push out, but Italy seemed to have several alliances that made me a little defensive about pushing out. I don't know, I didn't trust Italy.
This is enough to get him talking with his neighbor to the north about the Italian threat.
I am just going to let you know, I'm going to throw you another bone because I want to make sure that Italy does not get anything more.
Okay.
And so long as you stay in Serbia, I'm willing to support you holding there, which I'm assuming you're going to do because otherwise you're not going to get that supply center.
Yep.
My assumption was that any time now, Turkey was going to decide to stop wasting time and just move straight through me. Turkey never actually did that. And so I was happy as long as Turkey wasn't going to come after me to actually work with Turkey to harass Italy.
I have this fleet here, obviously poised to take Portugal.
Yes, I realize that.
You have this fleet in the English Channel that I really don't want there.
Okay, I can move that out of there if you do not take Portugal.
Yes, I would, if you move your fleet out of the English Channel into Picklehead, whatever that's called.
England is confident enough about her position over France to openly belittle the names of Gallic provinces. Russia, who by 1906 has become ad hoc leader of the increasingly disillusioned Eastern players, sees an opportunity in this.
I think I told her I wouldn't.
And that totally distracts her, but she's going to win.
Yeah.
If she doesn't have to worry about Dennis or you,
Yes.
she's going to win. So, you're not going to win, right?
Yes.
I'm not going to win, but at the very least, we can disrupt her plans.
Yes, exactly.
So by doing that.
So if I move from canal to
Irish Sea.
Fleet in the mid-Atlantic is moving to Spain, and London holds. France.
I'm happy to stay friends.
I'm so scared.
The army in Spain moves to Portugal. Alright.
Was not expecting that.
France's ill-timed sidestep from Spain to Portugal leaves the whole Iberian Peninsula free for the taking by the combined English and Italian navies.
It's a lot of Oreo.
Yeah, I'm hungry. Go on.
No, thanks.
But I'm very happy to distract Germany on its eastern front.
I have to say again that I'm not able to turn on Germany, so I'm not gonna make a move on Germany if you're.
Okay, but you're going after France, or are you going after Russia?
I cannot comment at this time.
I see. Okay, that tells me something.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess we have nothing more to talk about unless you want to renegotiate anything. But.
This late in the game, England is confident enough in her position to simply shut players down.
I'm sorry.
Yeah?
Italy, having sealed his alliance with England, also stops wasting his breath on Austria.
If you come up with a proposition. Otherwise, I'm just going to sit on it and you're not taking it. Because I'm not trying to go anywhere there either.
Right?
We're setting World War I up very nicely.
Are we?
Sides are slightly different.
Yeah.
But yes, don't we have basically two major blocks? Especially since I just saw France go talk to Russia at the beginning of this year. Yeah.
Italy's observations were borne out, as over the next couple of turns, the three-way England-Germany-Italy alliance routed France and rebuffed Russia, while Austria never regained his original foothold and Turkey never really emerged from his turtle shell defense in the corner of the map.
I think I played way too defensively, honestly. I didn't take enough risks. I really should have talked to Russia and just said, you know what, we should just bowl over Austria. Because there was just no real reason to let them live.
After 1908 and 16 full turns, we had to call it for time. We had blocked out 6 hours for gameplay, but at that point found ourselves stumbling into the 7th. Nonetheless, we did achieve consensus among the players of who won the day.
England was really the upper hand. I think probably everyone's going to say England.
I guess I'm going to go with England. She played a very good game.
There was just no way that Turkey and I could have stood up against England, Germany, and Italy.
I guess the question in my mind is whether the alliance between England and Germany would have held.
I think most likely it would have ended up with just the three of us, and we would have split them in.
My personal druthers actually probably would have been to try to eliminate Germany. But the alliance between Germany and England was so strong that I was afraid that if I attacked Germany, England would also attack me, which I didn't think I could win.
I think that my alliance of Germany and Italy and I would have won. I feel pretty confident that we would have won. You know, just looking at the board as it ended, you could see that we, unless something drastic happened, would have won.
Beyond the drama of the diplomacy itself and the tension as each turn's moves are revealed, diplomacy is known for its length. It can be hard to gather 6 of your friends for what amounts to an entire workday or longer of playing a single board game. That's why a culture of playing diplomacy through the mail sprouted soon after the game's original publication. In more recent years, this culture easily adapted itself to the internet. The Diplomatic Pouch at diplome.org bills itself as the official home of the hobby, containing a vast array of resources for both new players and veterans. And webdiplomacy.net is one of several sites where you can play the game over the web at a leisurely pace, often with several days in between turns. Thank you for joining me for this episode of the Gameshelf. As always, you can visit the show's website at gameshelf.jmac.org to watch any of our episodes, browse our show notes, subscribe to our blog, or leave feedback. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks again to Wizards of the Coast for providing us with our studio copy of Diplomacy. And the next time you're in turn of the century Europe, watch your back.
Really, man, I know you can never really trust anybody in these kinds of games.
See you next time.